Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Well, today we're gonna talk about some boss mechanics that a lot of different bosses has. And it is really important to know because mostly your group is just going to wipe to a boss if someone in the group doesn't know how it works, or you just do less damage. The boss is significantly harder. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you how that works, and more exactly, we're going to talk about what is impairment, what is destruction. We're also going to talk about back attacks, headshots, but this is just to increase your damage. It still helps everyone, right? Like if a boss dies faster. But impairment is basically for stunning bosses, and destruction is, well, to make bosses weaker, I would say. So, to see where you can find if a skill has impairment, destruction, or whatever, you're just gonna hover over that skill, and it tells you, first of all, this is execution. It tells you concentrate on one final blow, dealing 4023 physical damage, and then it tells you it has destruction level 2, impairment level 4, attack type from the back, and stuff like that. Well, for us, the most important things are destruction level 2 and impairment level 4 for this video, right? So we're gonna concentrate more on this. So again, impairment is for stunning, destruction is like to make bosses weaker. Well, I'm gonna tell you a lot more exactly what it is when we talk about some scenarios later in the video. But for now, that's what you need to know, right? Like that's the basic mechanic of it. But yeah, as you see on this skill, it tells you destruction is level 2. If we hover over another skill, let me just find something. Yeah, as an example, this, it tells you destruction is level 1. So that means this skill has less destruction than this skill. Okay, so if it has less destruction, it is less useful. And as an example, destruction, you're gonna use there's like at some point where you fight against the Guardian Raid boss, and he's like a turtle. So the turtle has a shell. If you break it, you do significantly more damage against him. So that means you need to use destruction skills to break his shell to do then more damage. So if you use execution, it goes faster down, right? Because this is level 2. If you use powerful swing, it deals less destruction damage to it. And so that's how you know that, right? The same counts for impairment. So this is impairment level 4, better than over here, impairment level 2. The reason why it is so important to know that the higher levels are better, some bosses have just like a small amount of time where you can do rather destruction damage or impairment damage to them to like cancel a certain attack or like destroy something to make the boss weaker. So yeah, we was talking about destruction already, right? Some bosses also can get stunned, and then you can destruct like a part of the boss. As example, there's also a scorpion you have to fight against. If you stun him, there's like an arrow above his swipe, and if you hit his swipe, it falls off, and then he has less attacks that he can do, so he is less dangerous. But yeah, so this is about destruction. And then for impairment is basically, well, whenever you do impairment damage to an enemy, you're gonna stun him faster, right? Like, doesn't matter what attacks he is doing, you're gonna stun him faster. In these phases, you can do more damage. You normally use your awakening skills, like your big skills, to do more damage to him. Also, he's laying on the ground, so like longer channeling attacks. He cannot dodge it if he's laying on the ground, right? So it's a lot easier to do damage to him, and he get more damage. Well, other than this, there are also some bosses that are channeling certain attacks, and if you don't impair them while they are channeling these certain attacks, they just gonna like one-shot you, or they go like enrage and do like more damage, they are faster, whatever. So some bosses have like phases where it is really important to use these impairment skills. And if you are fighting against such a boss, you normally hold your impairment skills until he makes that phase, then you use everything, and then you are waiting again until he is channeling their attack again. Well, some bosses have like different life stages, so that means you're fighting against a boss that has 40 life bars. If he is at 34 as an example, right? This is just an example, not talking really about a real boss, but some bosses are like that. If he has 34 life bars, he is doing one attack where you need to impair him. So that means if you are at 37 life bars or so, right, you know, okay, now I'm gonna hold my cooldowns from my skills to wait until he is making that attack. Before you can use them, you just want to make sure that your cooldowns are ready when he is reaching the 36 life bars in this scenario, right? So you have to find that out for every single boss, how they are working. And well, you not only have attacks, but you also have utility items. As an example, you have destruction bombs. Destruction bombs also has destruction level 3. Well, they're also doing damage to the boss, which is also obviously good, but they also have destruction level 3. So if you are fighting against that turtle I mentioned before, where you need to break the shell, if you use these bombs, it goes a lot faster. And you normally want to hold them on cooldown until the shell is broken, and then you don't gonna use the bombs again. Then you have Corrosion Bomb. If you throw that at an enemy, he is, well, let's say weaker against destruction skills for 20 seconds. Basically what it is doing, if you use a skill that is destruction level 2, it is during that time destruction level 3. So it pushes the level of all the destruction skills one higher. There are also Whirlwind Grenades. This is for Impairment. It's also doing damage to the boss again, and it has Impairment level 4. So also really, really strong and really important for the certain bosses that are channeling certain attacks. For the most bosses, if you are fighting against them and they do like an Impairment ability, they have like an orange life bar, like the life bar over my head here from my character, right? Like my life skill, like my life bar. They have them like on themselves then as well, like it is really visible. It's mostly like somewhere over here then, right? And you know, okay, now we have to use impairment skills until this bar is down and we made the phase successfully. There are some bosses that don't have like life bars like this for impairment skills, so you have to use it on certain attacks. As an example, there's like a Firebird. Well, sorry, we are back. I'm not online. But yeah, someone just followed while I'm online. Well, thanks for the follow, my man. And, well, sorry, we just cut this out. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, here we are again. So we was talking about this Firebird, right? So he's doing an mechanic where we need to impair him. Otherwise, he's going enrage. So he's basically like making an earthquake on the earth. Well, when we are coming to the boss, we're going to make a guide to him. So you're going to see it more exactly, right? But there's like fire on the ground, so you're really going to see that. And during that time, you have to use impairment skills. He also, if it is successfully, he get knocked down, so he is stunned. So you're going to mention that. If it is not successfully, he is channeling this earthquake attack through the like a really large area. So if you're standing next to him, you get damage. But well, you can run away obviously then if you mention that you're not gonna get it. But he's going enrage after this, and he's doing a lot more attacks and also other attacks, and he's faster and more dangerous obviously, right? So enrage is never good. So this is like a scenario where you don't see a life bar, but you see it on the skill that he is using. Again, we're gonna do guides for every single boss in this game. We're gonna do guides for every single void dungeon in this game. So just make sure to always follow my channel and you will always be up to date, especially when you reach a certain boss where you cannot go farther. You can just check if I have a guide for it, and then you get all the informations that you need. Well, other than this, right, this is how impairment and destruction works. Well, also, impairment level 4 is always higher than impairment level 3. Well, there is something that makes it a bit more complicated. First of all, I got the question a lot. I even got, when I started the game, told from peoples that Impairment level 2 is higher on a skill that makes more damage, which is not true. Impairment 4 always makes Impairment 4. That means if your bar is like at 100%, right? Just an example, like some bosses have like a higher impairment threshold, so you need to do more impairment attacks until their shield is broken. But as an example, you're fighting against the same boss. You have one attack that is impairment level 2, and it deals 10k damage. On the other hand, you have one attack that has impairment level 4, and it deals 2k damage. So a lot less damage, but the impairment is higher. So you're attacking once with both attacks on this boss. So if you attack now with the impairment level 2 with 10k damage, you attack him, the impairment bar is going down like 10%, right? So if you look at the damage, like 10k damage, wow, that's like really great, and it should be higher than the impairment level 4 attack with less damage. But that's not true. If you do now the impairment level 4 attack, it basically deals 20% impairment damage to him. So it takes 20% from the bar away. So it doesn't look at the damage. I also gonna show you that. There's something that is a bit more tricky though. So we're gonna show you this with execution, right? And there's like one of these tripod effects. By the way, who doesn't know what is a tripod? This tenacity thing is a tripod, bleed effect is a tripod, finish attack is a tripod. That are like these little runes or whatever that are making your abilities stronger. So we have now on here on the last stage that we can choose shockwave or confirm that. If we skill confirm that, it does 2 attacks basically. Okay, and if we do 2 attacks with the same skill through a tripod, it makes more impairment damage. So it's still the same skill, right? The damage doesn't matter, but it matters if it attacks 2 times or 1 time, or 3 times or 4 times or whatever. So if you can increase the attacks over a skill tree here, or like over a tripod effect, it makes more impairment damage. And we're gonna show you this. So to start off, we're gonna start with shockwave, okay? So this is like just one attack. I'm gonna show you real quick how it looks like. So this is with shockwave, okay? And then if we skill confirm that instead, well, he's also jumping again, right? So 2 attacks. So we're just gonna scale back to shockwave, and this is doing less impairment damage. So we're gonna spawn here a boss damage. We are in the trial realm. For those who doesn't know, you have to make your music of Trison. So you come over here. This is normally the area where Beatrice stands. You can talk then with her, and you can say you want to be in the test realm. And in the test realm, you can spawn monsters or scarecrows to train certain rotations or whatever, or to make guides like I do, right? So we're gonna summon now a boss monster. Well, the boss monster is also going against us. So we also need to like dodge him and fight him and whatever. But yeah, we just need to hit him once, right? So we have shockwave now, and we're just gonna make execution on him. So as you see, this purple bar is also basically the impairment, right? This is not the impairment that I was mentioning for special attacks, but every mob, or like every boss and whatever, well, like mostly every boss, let's say like this, has like a bar like this. Also like guardian raids where you don't see any life bars, they also have like a bar like this, you just don't see it. And it is basically their stun threshold and hit effect immunity, abnormal status tolerance. So that's what they call it in game. Well, this is with a translator, but it's basically like a stun threshold. If this bar is 0, you're gonna stun the boss, and then you can do more damage against him. You can channel your longer skills. Mostly you're gonna use awakening skills and whatever, right? So he's just laying on the ground and not moving. But yeah, so this is just for your knowledge. As we look on the purple bar now, right? You can see that the purple bar is like next to the M, right? we're just gonna despawn this boss now. So just keep that in mind. You can also like rewatch the video, like turn some seconds back, right? So we're gonna despawn him, yeah. And we're just gonna keep that in mind. Despawn, thanks. So now we're gonna skill confirm that. And again, we do now 2 attacks, so it takes more of this impairment bar away. It is going to be normally now another boss, but the impairment bar is always the same. I tested it with a lot of different bosses to make sure that I not tell you something wrong, right? So whenever I attack with the same attack, it takes the same damage to them. Like they always lose, well, their threshold bar until the M of the abnormal thing, right? But yeah, now we have another 3-pot effect on him. We're just gonna summon a boss monster again. So this is the new boss, it's a different one, right? There are like some difference that he can spawn. And we're just gonna attack him now again. Yep. And, well, you can see the bar is going down a lot farther, right? So it's going to the end. So what I was saying is basically right, so I just wanted to confirm that, because a lot of people are always telling me, Smerlow, this doesn't make sense, how would you do it, how would you even know it, how do you test that and whatever. So I wanted to show it to you to just confirm that I'm right about this. I mean, I don't care if I'm right or not, but it is important to learn that stuff, because you're gonna face bosses where it is harder to do the impairment thing, and if you know this stuff, it is a lot easier, right? And then also, like, to show you once again, we can also use a whirlwind grenade. Well, can we still do that in here? Type of bomber has already been added. Okay, well, we cannot have 2 different types of grenades. But we can also not throw them in here. Well, sorry guys, but yeah, I didn't know that. But if you will throw that at him as well, it's always doing the same damage of impairment damage. While we cannot show it here, we need to go like into a void dungeon and start the same boss over and over again or something like that. Not really want to do that, but it is how it is. Okay, sorry guys, I needed to cut something out again. This time I got engaged in real life. Well, we was talking now about destruction and impairment, which is the most important. But we also have other stuff. We have back attacks and we have headshots and counter attacks. Well, let's go on a counter attack. I just need to look real quick which has a counter attack on a berserker. I know it for Destroyer, I know it for my Bard and whatever, but I don't know it for this character. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Chainsword has a counter attack possible. So sometimes there are bosses that are like going to charge at you, and if they are doing that, they're gonna have like a blue color around them, like they are glowing in blue or something like that. And if they do such an attack and you would use, in that case, Chainsword in the perfect moment, you're gonna like stun him. He's like, you're gonna break his charge, he cannot charge. Some bosses are also doing other attacks that you can counter attack, but mostly it's just like a charge at you. And you do it in the right moment, you're gonna stun them, and you have like some seconds again where you can attack them, and well, you're gonna cancel his attacks basically. And then you have also on this skill as an example, attack type headshot. So that means if you stay in front of a boss and you attack him from there, you're gonna do more damage. So with this attack, you want to stay in front of a boss. Then you also have certain attacks where attack type from the back, and obviously if you stay behind the boss, then you do more damage there as well. And that also comes into the play that you really need to learn the boss fights. Like some boss fights have like certain attacks where you can, after that attack, take your time to attack him a little bit, because he's just staying there for like 2 or 3 seconds and he's doing nothing. And yeah, then you can use that attack as an example. Some bosses are also easier to stay behind them, so you can use more back attacks, right? So you're gonna do a little bit more damage with that certain attacks. It's also something really important to know, so you know how you can optimize your damage. And yeah, well, that's it with this guide. I hope it was helping you out. If you have like guild members, friends, whatever, and they also don't really know what impairment is, destruction is, or whatever, you can send them this video as well, so they can get all the information, so you explain it to them. But yeah, if you really like the video, just send them to me. It will also support me, and also make sure that I'm gonna post a lot more videos like this in the future. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye.